Damn you, Ned Stark. You and Jon Arryn, I loved you both. What have you done to me? You were the one that should have been king. You or Jon. Listen when I talk, damn you. Look at me, Ned. Look what kinging has done to me. Gods, too fat for my own armor. How did it ever come to this? Drink and stay quiet. The king is talking. I swear to you, I've never been so alive as when I was winning this throne, nor so dead as now that I have won it. Let me tell you a secret, Ned. More than once, I have dreamed of giving up the crown. Take ship for the free cities with my horse and my hammer. Spend my time warring and whoring. That's what I was made for. The sellsword king. How the singers would love me.
This war is far from over.
And so our tale begins in earnest. What if Robert Baratheon didn't become king? What if Ned Stark, instead, was declared king, with Robert's backing after the throne was seized by the rebel forces? Things play out as in canon. Robert Baratheon duels Rhaegar at the Ruby Ford, crushing the prince with his hammer. And Ned Stark leads the armies to King's Landing, only to find that House Lannister has already sacked the city, killing Princess Ilya and her children. And as the bodies are presented to Robert Baratheon wrapped in Lannister crimson to hide the blood, here we begin to diverge from canon. As Ned Stark declares the killings to be murder and calls for justice, as he looks to the corpses, and then Lannister and Stark, they're shouting and bickering, ringing in his ears, echoing throughout the hall, Robert looks to the Iron Throne and finds it ugly. And the bickering, God, the bickering. He would not call what he feels regret. The children were Targaryens, they deserved to die, but all of this politics. To be king seemed unappealing. War and women he knew, but politics. As Tywin ran his mouth and Ned preached honor, Robert's voice cracked out like lightning. He would not climb over the corpses of children and women to be king over fools and sycophants. He did not have the patience for it. No, he may have had the claim, yes, but the Targaryen rule was over. Their claim, and any he might have, were gone. Whoever took the throne now would lead Westeros into a new era, one free of the Dragonspawn. He turns now to Ned Stark and points his hammer at the man, declaring him the best man that he knows, honorable, just, a king that Westeros needs. As with a crack of thunder, Robert declares that House Baratheon stands behind King Ned. And so our story begins. However flimsy a concept it may be that Westeros would accept this, I figured it was a nice little what-if story, so we'll jump right into it. Immediately, with King Ned ordering the executions of Amory Lodge and the Mountain Clegane for the murder of Ilya and her children. While the Kingslayer, Jaime Lannister, having broken his oath, is shipped off to the Wall to join the Night's Watch, a trial is held for Tywin Lannister, but no proof can be found that he'd given the orders for his men to kill Ilya, so the man goes free. Ned is a man of honor, he can't prove that Tywin was involved. Tywin, very begrudgingly, gets the hell out of King's Landing and doesn't even swear fealty to Ned, I think, he just leaves. Though with the help of Jon Arryn, Cersei Lannister is still betrothed to Robert, in order to keep the Lannisters in line. King Ned puts Jon Arryn in charge of the capital as he rides to Storm's End to lift the siege, Mace Tyrell bends the knee, and Ned Stark takes a company of men to the Tower of Joy, where events play out as they do in canon. Lyanna Stark dies in the birthing bed, giving birth to Jon Snow. Now, here you could easily make the argument that Ned Stark would reveal that Jon is the legitimate heir to House Targaryen and put him on the throne. Potentially. It would also piss off all of the rebels, and it would reopen the wounds of the war, so you could also make the argument that he wouldn't, but yeah, as with these stories, people are gonna go, no, he wouldn't do this, or no, he'd do this instead. I can't make everybody happy. For the sake of this video, we're going to say that Ned plans to raise the boy as his own, in order to keep him safe from the political nonsense in King's Landing, and away from the wrath of Robert, who would still very much want the boy dead. To say nothing of the Lannisters' knives in the dark. Ned ultimately convinces himself that Jon would have a better future as a royal bastard than he would as a boy king. Taking the child, he returns to King's Landing and sits at the Iron Throne, turning his attention to the east, where the last Targaryens reside. As rather than send Stannis Baratheon with a fleet to Dragonstone, Ned instead sends an envoy, offering an olive branch, a chance at peace, an opportunity for the Targaryens that remained to surrender. Ned had seen enough dead children for one lifetime, and he wasn't about to add more to the list. At Dragonstone, the Queen Mother is giving birth to a young Daenerys Targaryen, and as she dies on the birthing bed, she gives a final order, accepting Ned Stark's peace. For whatever reason, likely not wanting her newborn child to be living in exile her entire life, and trusting that Ned Stark is a man of honor, Viserys and Daenerys are sent to King's Landing to be wards of House Stark, which no doubt angers a great many lords, especially Robert Baratheon, who ends up storming out of the capital and going back to Storm's End. The loss of Lyanna and the apparent betrayal from Ned, as far as he sees it, is a push too far for Robert. And so begins the reign of King Eddard of the House Stark, first of his name, Lord of the Andals, the R'hllor and the First Men, Protector of the Realm, King in the South. Ned is being dressed by, I can only assume, Jon Arryn, basically. Jon's told him that he can't wander around King's Landing acting as king and dressed as a northern savage, in more polite terms than that. But he has, gotten Ned a tailor and told him to dress up fancy and look the part of the king. While Benjen is married to a Glover girl in the north, named the new Warden of the North. And Robb Baratheon, I think, will marry Cersei to bring the Lannisters into the fold and mend the wounds, and it will probably be Jon's idea to convince Robert to do it. And Ned would be a bit standoffish, but he would still accept the Lannisters need to be brought into the fold. I think Robert would still shack up with Cersei if Ned convinced him, when Jon Arryn convinced him. For the, to help Ned rule and help the realm and everything. Robert would begrudgingly do it. She's still a pretty girl. And Robert is Robert. Their marriage is still going to be terrible. But at least the kids would be legitimate, considering that Jaime is at the Night's Watch. Actually, the game just married Cersei to him without me even doing anything. So yeah, that's happened. Robert marries Cersei. From the Vale of Arryn, we have Sir Lyn Corbray swearing fealty. Then becoming my King's Guard. And then we have Hostine Blackwood. Got Doran Martell be our master. I mean, Ned has definitely sent the heads of Emery Lorch and Gregor Clegane to Dorne to justify that. And the Riverlander, Jonathan Darry's still alive, actually. Since we have not killed the Targaryen children, Jonathan Darry is probably assigned to protect them. He's of questionable loyalty. But the man is loyal, and Ned won't fault that. Even if it's not smart. That's the thing. There's several things that Ned's doing, which arguably are not very smart decisions. But it's Ned. He's led by his honor, and his honor says that he will not murder Viserys Targaryen or Daenerys. He's not stupid. He's not going to give Viserys Dragonstone, although he might have toyed with the notion, but Jon Arryn's never going to cancel that. If anything, Jon Snow or John Waters will be given Dragonstone later on. And Daenerys, we could marry to Robb. First things first, in Eddard's rule, we have to have a coronation and actually crown him. All the Lords of the Realms will be invited to swear fealty to House Stark and recognize us as the rightful kings. And also, no doubt, Ned will declare, John Waters as his nephew and announce to the realm that he will be the future Lord of Dragonstone, but he will never take the name Targaryen. Jon Arryn would counsel, save Dragonstone for the boy, and when he's of age, he can marry a Valyrian girl or something along those lines to keep the Lords of the Narrow Sea happy, and they'll take a different name. And the Targaryen name will die out. Viserys can join the Night's Watch when he's of age, and Daenerys can marry Ned's eldest son. Benjen approaches me. Benjen's here for the coronation side. Yeah, we'll crown ourselves with the Crown of Winter, which we find in the Targaryen vaults, the original crown that Torrhen Stark surrendered. The ceremony has finally reached its climax. Lord Benjen has anointed me in the traditions of the old gods of winter. I imagine the faith are going to be somewhat pissed at Ned throughout the thing. They have a heretic on the Iron Throne. So, again, this is something that's HBO's ending makes no goddamn sense and would cause massive upheaval, is the fact that the king on the Iron Throne isn't following the seven gods. Before the men and the old gods, I proclaim Eddard of House Stark, king of the Andals, the R'hllor and the First Men, lord of the seven kingdoms, and protector of the realm. Long may he reign. I've been crowned king. Now I must prove myself worthy of the title and sit upon the conqueror's throne. I turn to the crowd and silently feel I climb the stairs unevenly. I take a moment to steel myself as a palpable unease. I turn and slowly lower myself onto the throne. It is not a comfortable seat, and I doubt I will ever get used to it. But I shall make do. I motion to my attendants to usher forth the first of my vassals, who have come to bend the knee. It's actually Hodor's father. Now you would make an excellent Kingsguard, my boy. You are lowborn, which would piss off people, but I think Ned might actually go, not care about that necessarily. This is one of those stupid decisions that Ned might make. I have to think like an honorable fool. And I think genuinely that he might actually consider this. I might genuinely consider it. Thank you all for coming. Benjen, what the fuck happened to you, dude? You do have a son, though. You've named him Belfazar. Belfazar Stark. That okay? Benjen, you edgelord. Benjen is ill and half dead. And fucking Balthazar Stark. Fucking, that's the name of a demon. Benjen, what did you do up there, dude? But yeah, Robb will marry Daenerys. Viserys is probably gonna get sent to the Night's Watch at some point. Can I make him just or honest? No, the kid is set in his ways. Ned will try to raise the boy well, but it will probably... Oh, it worked! Ned's getting through to him. Ned is actually getting through to the boy. That was a 7% chance of that working. Holy shit. He's still arrogant and impatient, but he has been instilled a sense of justice. Greyjoy needs to be brought to heel, as he refused. Yes, good dog. Yes, I agree. Fuck the Greyjoys. First real test to Eddards Reign, ladies and gentlemen. The Greyjoys, naturally. It's always the Greyjoys. And as usual, nobody is siding with them. Greyjoy no doubt thought to themselves the same thing that Balon did, that they don't owe any allegiance to the current King of the Iron Throne, and they thought that other people would side with them, but they have not. Even Lannister. Hey, Blackwood. The day is besieging Pike along. Relax by the fire. Yeah, sure, we'll make friends with Blackwood. Joffrey is born with golden hair. You have Baratheon eyes, at least? No. Oh, God. So, yeah, obviously, Cersei can't be banging Jaime, but she can be banging, like, anybody else, pretty much. The war is over. We have won. The Siege of Pike has taken about 5 billion fucking years to do. I'm gonna say that, yeah, I mean, Quentin Greyjoy bends the knee. Ah, Euron was killed in battle as well. So yeah, the Greyjoys bend the knee, and we gain some legitimacy. Lord Greyjoy is brought before me. I will send him to the Night's Watch. Again, I'd strip Greyjoy of his titles and give the Lord Paramountcy to somebody else. But Ned, in his honourable state, would think that just stripping it of, you know, the Lord and sending him to the Night's Watch. That's Ned's solution for everything. I'll just send him to the Night's Watch. His family definitely won't resent me for this. No, surely the Greyjoys will never raise up against the throne again, boys. Surely they'd never do that. I could put Viserys in charge, and I don't think he has anyone to marry to. I think that's a decision that Jon Arryn would be vehemently against. He would be very, very, very against that notion. Because even though Ned may like the boy, and see that he's potentially becoming more just and everything, he's not as bad as his canon counterpart, he is still arrogant, he is still impatient, and he is still stubborn. He is still a Targaryen, and technically a lot of people would consider him the heir to the throne. So giving him Dragonstone would be seen as a really f***ing bad idea. Yeah, Jon can marry a Valeron girl, and that puts the Valerons at ease, and then Jon makes a, like, cadet branch of House Targaryen. I do think Ned would, left to his own devices, probably just give Viserys Dragonstone. But with Jon Arryn whispering him and telling him it's a terrible, terrible idea, and also probably Robert going, "Fuck no, we're not giving it. Give it to the boy. Give it to the Snow. Give it to the bastard. Give it to Lyanna's son." Like, I think Jon gets Dragonstone. Viserys is too much of a threat for any advisor of Ned's to not be begging him to see reason. Robert Baratheon would be fucking furious. He'd much rather it go to Lyanna's boy, because I don't think Robert necessarily really hates Jon Snow so much. But he fucking hates the Targaryens. Especially, like, on the thing of Jon wouldn't take the name Targaryen. But I don't think there's a world that exists where Viserys Targaryen is given Dragonstone. Even if Ned might genuinely entertain the notion, all of his advisors would be against it. The Valerons are sated because they have Valeron blood on Dragonstone. And then the Targaryen name will die with Viserys. And Cersei's about to have another kid. The thing that interests me is, I think Joffrey might actually be Jaime's. Potentially. Like, when he was in a black cell, she visited him or something. That's my headcanon for what's happening there. But no, House Stark sits the Iron Throne. Secure, for now, at least. So again, the game's doing things by itself here. Viserys has a crush and is friends with the Princess of Dawn. That is a thing that's happening. See, I really feel like Ned is soft on the boy. I genuinely feel like he wants Viserys to have a future. But the thing is, he cannot marry the Princess of Dawn. Cannot possibly marry the Princess of Dawn. That is a terrible idea. Even if the children were to take the name Martell, the Martells would still think, we're the rightful kings now. Jon Arryn's advice is definitely sending him to the Night's Watch. Robert is definitely wants him, like, sent to the Night's Watch or killed. I don't think Ned has much of a choice. And he still does believe the Night's Watch is for honourable people, and that has been his thing for, like, ever. So I think, despite Ned thinking that the boy is not quite his father. He has hope and trust in Viserys that he can make a name for himself at the Night's Watch. I don't see any other alternative, honestly. I think that Viserys just has to take the black. That was basically what was always declared, that Viserys would grow up and take the black. Any alternative potentially breeds rebellion down the line. All of Ned's advisors would advise him to do so. This is going to be one of those situations where people in the comments are like, no, he wouldn't do that, he'd do this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, it's basically a fan fiction. He could do 1,000 things. You could make several billion different arguments. There exists no universe where I'm going to make everybody happy with these decisions. But I feel like Ned does stick to his guns, listens to his counselors, and Jon Arryn and everything, and sends Prince Viserys to the Night's Watch, hoping that the boy can make a name for himself there and live a decent life and serve the realm. But definitely Robert will try to... He'll want, like, his kids to be married to Ned's kids. What the fuck happened to Edric Storm? Something bad happened to Edric Storm. I'm gonna blame Cersei for this. Hey, look! Robert actually had a daughter that actually looks like him. And a son that actually looks like him. We could marry Marcella to Brandon. Okay, so as in canon, Robert Baratheon is going to want to marry his kids to Ned's. However, I'm assuming through Cersei's influence, Joffrey is actually betrothed to Margaery Tyrell. I didn't do this, the game did. I'm going to stick with it, however. We're going to say that that's a thing. That is a thing that Cersei is scheming. Because in Cersei's head, Joffrey is the rightful heir, and Robert's the rightful king, so she's scheming. And Robert is largely a completely absent father, just running around the place, hanging out with Ned in the capital, and going to tourneys and jousting, and doing whatever the hell he wants, without the responsibility of being king. But, however, Robert still wants to tie himself to the Starks, so the next best thing, other than Joffrey being married to Sansa, is to marry his daughter, Marcella, to Brandon. So that's going to happen. I do think Jon Arryn would honestly support the marriage between the Reach and Joffrey as well. This wouldn't be seen as a problem. This would be seen as a masterful diplomatic move, which will bring the Reach into the fold as loyalists to the rebels. Because as far as everyone's concerned, Joffrey is Robert's son, and Robert's son would surely never do anything against Robert's best friend, basically his brother. So, Joffrey Baratheon's a loyalist, right? Yeah, so marrying the Tyrell girl, that's a good thing, right? Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Ah. Greyjoy. Again? Greyjoy. Again, Greyjoy. Really? Call the banners. Benjen's not getting involved for some fucking reason, I guess, because it's not really necessary for him to be perfectly honest. Balon, are you a fucking idiot? I mean, yes, obviously, he is an idiot. This is the second time the Greyjoys have done this. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, Kraken? Robin Greyjoy, okay. It's Balon's brother, I'll take him out. Strike, parry, riposte. Attack first, on guard. Size of ice. It's hilarious. Bye, Robin. So, I cut down Greyjoy, and then we go after Balon himself. I feel like Ned needs to wear some proper fucking attire for this. He'll wear his kingly finery to beat Greyjoy. It's even more of an insult. After a few moments, King Balon and I pace lazily in half circles. I beat the shit out of him. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. My sword arm moves as fast as lightning and strikes as hard as sundered stone, blow by blow, beating my opponent. All that's left is a quivering pile of a bleeding man. I wonder if I've gone too far. And Robert coughs hard. Yeah, I am victorious. Victory is yours. King Balon is at your mercy, helpless and defenseless. The main battle is over. Honestly, this is the second time the Greyjoys have rebelled. I don't necessarily think that Ned would spare him in a duel in the middle of a battlefield. He's just gonna cut him down. Yes, he's honorable, but it's a fight in the middle of the battlefield. He's not... Yeah, we'll cut him down. Which leaves Roderick Greyjoy injured. I could have sworn I took Theon as a captive after the last time they rebelled. Apparently not, though. I want to duel Roderick himself. 2 kings in 1 battle, come on. This is the second time now. The Greyjoys are just fucking stupid. I swear to shit. They're just born stupid. Actually, that's Jon and... Yeah, okay. Jon and the Laeron girl can marry. Hey, Doran and Roderick Cassell become friends. Oh. What the hell's this? As we're over here dealing with this, really? It's terrible timing for me. Call the banners. Alright, he's claiming to be the son of... It's not Blackfire. He's claiming to be Rhaegar's son. Oh, shit. Jon! Suddenly of a minor illness, my ass. Someone murdered Jon. I swear to shit, someone murdered Jon. Like, absolutely someone murdered Jon. I'm calling it. Fuck you, someone murdered Jon. Yeah. Look, he's taken Dragonstone. Jon died of an illness, air quotes. Fuck off. No, the dude invaded, took Dragonstone, and murdered Jon. He fucking murdered him. Son of a bitch. Well, the Martells have betrayed us and sided with the Targaryens, so we need to beat the shit out of them real quick. They tried to, like, ambush us in the night, I guess. It failed, but still. A handful of people have sided with the dragon. Not the North, but some of the Reach and everything. The Valeron girl's pregnant with Jon's kid. Sweet. But his line continues. Lyanna's blood continues. The kid becomes my hostage. He becomes the High Lordship of Pike, but I take the Lord Paramountcy. House Harlaw is probably the most, like, stable option that Ned would be counseled to do. Harlaw's the most stable. They're the most willing to be, yeah, lead the Ironborn into a new age. They've lost their river advantage. Get in here, lads. Oh, beat the crap out of them. I need to face off against the Targaryen boy. Ah, I got injured. Fuck. King! Protect the king! I don't think I'm dueling Aegon on this one. Still, the Targaryen boy stands no chance. Honestly. He's not gotten nearly as much support as he would have thought. But he did attack while we were fucking with Greyjoy, so we'll make short work of this boy. For Jon! I'm convinced it's his fault. It's not a coincidence Jon just mysteriously dies suddenly. The Brackens have sided with them, by the way. Typical Brackens, dude. Typical fucking Brackens. A house of traitors. House of fucking traitors, boys. Robert is having the... What the fuck? God, Edric Storm was screwed. But yeah, oh, shit. Joffrey's dead. Joffrey died of a botched... Okay. That means Tommen's is there. Okay, well, for now at least, Robert is having the time of his life fucking up Targaryens. He's like, finally, they're back. I can do something and have some fun. God, fastest blade in the Iron Throne. Fuck you. Victorious. Hey, Ned gains formidable fighter. He's left Robb in charge of the Iron Throne, by the way. Just chilling. Harrenhal betrayed me. There's the Martells over there as well. The thing is, you could argue, oh, Tywin would. No. Tywin is basically responsible for the death of, you know, Aerys and, you know, swapped sides and everything. And Tywin knows that if the Targaryens got in charge, he'd be in the shit. So there's no way Tywin would side with Aegon. He went through great lengths to get rid of the dragons. He does not want them back. Baratheon definitely wouldn't. Tyrell, maybe if they'd married Marjorie off to Aegon rather than Aegon marrying the Dornish girl, then yeah, but they didn't do that, so. And the war comes to an end. All we have to do is drag Aegon kicking and screaming. Where the fuck is he at? Oh, he's all the way over here. One thing I really hate about Crusader Kings 3, and I've said it before, is the fact that the game will finish the war before I tell it to be finished. In Crusader Kings 2, I could just beat the crap out of the enemy for as long as I fucking wanted. Bring them before me. Who the hell is that? Oh! It's Jon's kid. A daughter. He had a daughter. I mean, we hold Aegon directly responsible for killing Jon, basically. So I think Aegon Targaryen dies. We take Dragonstone back. I mean, that was directly for, like, killing Jon. Then, yeah, she becomes the Princess of Dawn. Hopefully is not pregnant with Aegon's kid. And we host the wedding of Prince Robb. I have officially renamed Lyanna's grandchild as Lyanna Velfire. Taking the Valeron name and putting the fire thing at the end and further distancing it from House Targaryen as much as humanly possible, basically. I'll give them Dragonstone, and when the child comes of age, and probably marry her to a Valeron as well. Which is just basically making the Lords of the Narrow Sea happy. The wedding of Prince Robb, the young wolf, and Princess Daenerys is happening as well. Benjen can have ice, because Ned Stark has Blackfire, which will be the official sword of the king now. I feel like Ned would rather have ice safe in Winterfell with Benjen and the Starks of Winterfell than have it in the south. With them? Nah, they are lovers. They're getting along. It's a happy marriage. Good. Get in there, Robb. Get in there, lad. Literally. Viserys, by the way, still at the Night's Watch. He was imprisoned by some wildlings at one point, but seemingly managed to get through it without dying. I've been struggling with who to marry Sansa off to, and I'm thinking, honestly, Trystane has been our hostage in King's Landing for a while now. I'm gonna let him go home, but I think I'm gonna marry him to Sansa, potentially. It's an odd... I'm not saying odd. I think Sansa would be fine in Dawn, as long as Trystane don't cheat and everything. It's Sansa's marrying a prince. I think she's still naive. I mean, of course she's going to be naive. This is Sansa before everything happened. Nothing bad has really ever happened to her. So essentially, she's still the naive girl with dreams and everything. She's probably thrilled at the concept of becoming a princess. Well, she's already a princess, but, you know, she wants to stay a princess. I imagine, actually, that Sansa's even more arrogant and uppity than she usually is, to be honest. As a princess of the Iron Throne, she's bound to be insufferable. No other match is kind of suited for her. Arya is already betrothed to the Lord of the Vale, and she's too young to marry the Martell boy. The only match that makes any sense is Sansa marrying Trystane. Torrhen Stark. He did not get much of his mother's beauty, but still, he's all Stark, this one. We have an heir to the Iron Throne, or a grandson, which is nice. Arya is betrothed to the heir to the Vale, Robert Arryn. Brandon's betrothed to Marcella. Rickon is betrothed to nobody, but I'm kind of thinking he'll maybe become Kingsguard or something. Arya's being a bitch. Father, I can't do it. I don't want to marry Cousin Robert. You say that. Where do I begin? He's so like any of the others. We're so like each other in possible every way. He's so very weak and frail. Almost feels he falls to pieces if I touch him. Is that all? No. He comes from a lesser family. It's true that you know it. Please, Father. Honestly, I kind of have to act as Ned in this. It is Arya. It's a very Arya thing. She doesn't want to marry. I have to be like Ned, which means being stupid, and a soft-hearted idiot. I mean, Ned isn't stupid. He just lets honor guide him. He doesn't want to insult the Arryns. Then he's made the match. But I do think he's like, he wouldn't force it. Like, if she came back, I think we allow her, so we say, okay, you don't have to marry. And I will name Tyrion Lannister as my Hand of the King. He's been a steward for long enough that I think Ned trusts his ability. Since Tywin died of a broken heart, actually. He died of a broken heart. Why is Cersei imprisoned? By Baratheon, okay. Oh shit, did he find out about the kids? No, not seemingly. Why did they hate him? If any of them exposed my secret... Oh. Attempted imprisonment in prison? A nemesis. I'm interested to see what Robert plans to do with Cersei. Like, does he know? Or did she just try to kill him? Maybe. Interesting. Because he's not, like, declaring the children bastards or anything. He just has Cersei in prison because she's a bitch, I guess. Oh, the Arryn did remarry to House Shells, apparently. I'm assuming that Cersei tried to have Robert murdered like she did in the canon, but this version of Robert never got fat and like shit, so... But seemingly he hasn't discovered the truth about the children. If they are actually Jaime's or anything. I think that Joffrey was. I mean, they're all golden hair, so I'm assuming they are still somehow bastards. Brandon marries the Baratheon girl, because we assume, since he didn't disown anybody, or even... I'm going with Cersei tried to kill Robert, like she did in canon, but this time it failed, because Robert isn't the fat, obese king. So it failed, and Robert found out about it, and then swiftly executed her, which leaves Tommen as his heir, which could be worse, but also he's technically a Lannister. Oh, okay, it's working. They'd spent together in company turned out to be a successful one. You're never gonna get any bitches with a cloak like that, dude. No bitches. I was determined to make merry, I'm told, but even though they said they'd many chances to talk, that it was clear that Renly found merry making a ball. They chatted admirably, despite all watchful eyes charting at every move. They seemed at ease, and the day appeared to be a success. The sun began to wane, and the couple walked back to the castle for dinner. Ned will give his little girl whatever she wants, even if it means marrying a House Massey. I mean, it's not far from home. Like, it's not far from the capital, and he is a High Lord of decent lineage, so yeah, I mean, if that's what she wants, then that's what she wants. What we can do is actually have Trystane Martell join us in King's Landing, rather than being in Dorne. Since he has nothing to inherit now, he can stay at the capital with my daughter, and the kids as well. My grandson, Oberyn, apparently. And Rickon comes of age. Well, yeah, the realm's at peace, pretty much. Sansa returns to King's Landing with her husband and her children, and they live with us. Robb is chilling in King's Landing, banging Dany. Oh, crap. He had a son called Eddard, who looked like a Targaryen, but died of the pox. Shit. I tell you, the name Eddard is cursed. Shouldn't name kids Eddard. Yeah, that sucks. We had an actually Targaryen-looking Stark for a brief second there, and he was beautiful. No! Oh, at least we've still got Torrhen. Torrhen is just slightly crazy, but he is there. Sansa's just like, I want to go back to Dorne. Marcella is, what kind of weird-ass family did I join into? And Torrhen is just mental. And Ned is overwhelmed by the stress of it all. He's trying to influence young Torrhen to be a good lad, even though he's kind of beaten up and kind of slightly possessed. Dany has another kid, and it looks like a Targaryen. Not quite as beautiful as his brother was, but hopefully more not dead. There is a deep and endless hole in my heart. Robert is a constant companion, confident. I haven't ripped from my life. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Ned is all duty. He needs to push forward. How did Robert die? Oh, okay. Tommen, despite the fact that he's probably not actually a Baratheon, and somehow had a Targaryen-looking kid. Is that his heir, actually? Yeah, it is. Oh, the great fucking irony. Where did that even come from? From House Hall, okay. Who married some random girl that happened to have silver hair. The great fucking irony that Robert's grandson, the future Lord of Storm's End, has Targaryen features. Or has Valyrian features. Torrhen's growing up to be a good lad. He's honest and just, content. He is a bit crazy. But hey, aren't we all a bit crazy? And gladly accept the betrothal, looking forward to the grand wedding. So yeah, she's a bit older than Torrhen, but it'll be fine. Viserys Targaryen is beyond the wall and half blind, apparently, due to a wound, I'm assuming, across his face. An infected wound. Oh, he might die. The last dragon, boys. The last dragon may well not live much longer. Edmure was gored by a boar. He got Robert Baratheoned. So his daughter is now in charge, and I'm going to marry my grandson Asher, who is Brandon and Marcella's boy, to her, and they'll take the Tully name. That's honestly the best deal that, like, Brandon's kid could ever hope to get, is he will be the Lord Paramount of the Riverlands. Which kind of makes sense to me, because the Starks are half Tully anyway. They've got Tully blood, they've got good ties with the Tullys, so who better to marry the girl than a Stark? Just trying to set up, oh shit, Tommen died. How? Slain in battle? What battle was he doing? Fuck. We'll just set up the alliances and stuff. Ned's on the throne for as long as he is. He is slowly getting old and ailing, but the realm is at peace. Honestly, it's way more stable than I had ever expected it to be. The thing with Crusader Kings is, you get to this level of power, and the game's just a fucking cakewalk, so it's what it is. I'm going to marry Sansa's daughter to Robert Baratheon. Like, the new Robert Baratheon. Or betroth them. Who better than a Princess of Dawn / half-Stark princess who marry the Robert boy? A raven has come from Castle Black. Jaime Lannister is the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. That was bound to happen eventually, I guess. He's probably one of the... he is the best choice. There is Viserys Targaryen, but he's half-blinded, beating the crap out of, and... he's not mad. He's not, like, insane. It's probably the best version of Viserys that you're ever going to get, but he's still got sent to the Night's Watch. He's got gangrene. He's just all around having a terrible time up north. One thing I'm going to do, which is going to cause Ned stress, is I'm going to convert to the local culture. And I'm going to adapt to the local culture, because Ned sees that being Northman is sort of putting him at odds with the rest of the South. It's bad enough that he's Old God, because I see trouble in the future. But if they accept Crownlander traditions and Southern traditions, but still keep to the Old Gods, that's the way to go, I feel. Because Robb and then the rest of all of them will accept Crownlander traditions, basically. I might actually have Ned form, like, a House Stark of King's Landing kind of thing. Oh shit, there goes. Yep. Died of a broken heart after Catelyn. That makes sense. Charming man, died of a broken heart. King Robb ascends to the Iron Throne. The king is dead. Long live the king. Robb's eldest daughter is married to the Lord of Hightown. Obviously, Torrhen's married to the Lannister girl. His second eldest not married to anybody. And then Prince Willem is betrothed to... actually, the heir to Driftmark, oddly. Oh, because Valar died. Robb still loves Dany, even though she is... like, scarred to hell. Who made my commander of the... Rickon? Rickon's got the best aptitude for it. Commander of the, yeah, Commander of the City Watch. King in the South! King in the South! Ceremony has finally reached its climax. Lord Benjamin has anointed me with the traditional rites of the old gods of winter in the woods, and now prepares to crown me. The crown is placed upon my head. I proclaim Robb of House Stark, King of the Andals, the Renoir and the First Men, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protector of the Realm. Long may he reign. We're lovers, but we're rivals. What's gone on there? What did she do? What did she do? Rival. I don't know why we're rivals. Viserys is still alive up north, but other than that... yeah, the only Targaryens left alive is Dany and him. So yeah, all is well with the world. I mean, vassal-wise... everybody loves Robb, to be perfectly honest. I don't think we're going to have any issues. But, we'll see what happens. I'll let Robb rule for a bit, but, I think you're looking at pretty much just wrapping this up now. This was just supposed to be Ned Stark sitting on the Iron Throne, seeing what happens. I am going... ooh, it's epic now, cool. I am leaning more towards, short stories and individual videos rather than massive long series. I will still do the odd longer, like, several-part series, but those videos always progressively just perform worse and worse and worse the longer the series goes on for. So it's just in my interest to do shorter little stories like this, pretty much. The Dragon Pit has been restored. It has? Question mark? Ah, whoever's in charge of Rainey's Hill must have rebuilt it. I guess I have a Dragon Pit now? Yennefer, you see this shit? You see this stuff, Yennefer? Should we get some lunch, Yennefer? Yeah? Yeah? Wanna go? You wanna go? What do you want, Yen? Tell the people, what do you want? Speak. Speak. Woof. Woof. Yeah, Yennefer says I have to wrap this up, boys. My son, Willem, kneels before me, swearing to exchange his life for mine to obey my words and keep my confidence. Yeah, Prince Willem has joined the King's Guard. All hail the White Wolf. The last dragon, Viserys Targaryen, has died at the age of 54, serving at the Night's Watch for his entire life, going blind. At one point he was captured by wildlings and somehow survived that. So the last Targaryen is Daenerys Stormborn, who is disfigured from the pox. She's got poor health, but she is Queen of the Iron Throne, with Robb as her king. So once she dies, the Targaryens will be gone from the world, and only House Stark will remain as the rightful rulers of the Seven Kingdoms. And I do believe we'll basically wrap it up here, boys. As I always disclaim at the end of these things, I could continue for 1,000 years, but you see what's happening. Nothing. Once you're a king, and once you're this powerful, basically nothing happens. And after Robb, Torrhen Stark will take the Iron Throne with his Lannister bride, and after him will be Jon. Jon the Genius. So yes, without further rambling, we'll wrap this up. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Soul out.